What's up? It's Thursday, and that could mean only one thing. Time for this week's episode of Invisible Walls. This week we have Ryan Stevens sitting in on the panel. How's it going?
Going pretty well.
Justin Spear, how are you doing on this fine day?
I'm doing great on this fine day.
And Patrick Morales, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up? Yo.
That's saying it.
I was gonna say, my mind just went two ways, and I was caught in the middle. But hello, how are you doing?
Doing good. And Daniel Bloodworth is sitting in today as well.
Hey.
So today's show is jam-packed. We have someone on the show today that you've all been asking for quite some time. It's going to be a big surprise. We're also going to answer your viewer mail today. And then we're going to talk about two games that the embargo just lifted on, but unfortunately we're not allowed to show video of the games, and that would be Ninja Gaiden 2 and Grid. We're also going to get into a discussion about Haze, Ubisoft's upcoming first-person shooter for the PS3. Then we're going to rip through this week's news, and then finally move on to one-word reviews. And this week's target are your Invisible Walls logos. And we got quite a few. We can't wait to show them all to you guys.
None of you move! Get on the floor! Liberty City. Rooks. Dukes.
Bloodworth, what you got for us?
Our first question is from Platinum47, and he asks, do you think the exclusive downloadable content for GTA 4 on the 360 really affects sales? And I'd start off by saying that I think it's going to be interesting to see how it affects sales because, you know, there's our group of gamers that know about all the extra content, and then, but what does the general public know? You know, is this the guy that, like, really just wants to go around shooting up the streets, care if there's more content or not, or does he just want to cruise town?
I don't think it's going to affect sales at all, honestly.
I don't think it's, well, when you say affects sales, does that mean people are going to buy the game because that's downloadable content, or people are going to go to the Xbox 360 version over the PS3
I think
version?
he's asking if they'll go to the 360 version.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
Maybe-
One, I don't think most people finish Grand Theft Auto.
But on the split side, I think the sales of the downloadable content, I'm not going to say it's going to be amazing, but I think it's going to be interesting. We've heard a lot of rumors that, you know, Rockstar's going to do, like, aggressive marketing for downloadable content. And we've seen, like, Rock Band go like triple platinum in downloads. And you don't know, is that spread across everyone who's bought Rock Band, or is it just like 4 dudes who are downloading every single song?
Well, Rock Band is also one of those games that's perfectly suited for downloadable content. I mean, you can rip through the song list in that game in a night if you're playing with a bunch of friends. It's like, you know, obviously you're going to be like, well, what's next? I want more music. And we're talking about a game here that's like a 60-hour commitment to get to the end of it. I mean, I just don't see the average person, one, getting to the end, and then two, saying, you know what, I want more.
But I think Rockstar is banking on that. They're actually going to go into that much more general core audience who just loves Halo, loves Call of Duty, loves GTA, and see if they can actually penetrate that.
That's a whole lot of game for people like that to finish, man. I just don't see it happening. Personally, I don't think it's going to really change things that much.
Speaking of penetration, maybe you can download new hookers.
Why would you want to do that?
You know,
the
you
old
get
ones? They get worn out. They're bump
tranny
mapping's
pack,
not as bumpy.
tranny expansion pack.
Next.
No.
Justin.
We can cut all that. That's fine.
Justin, you have a fun letter for us, don't you?
I suppose so. It's from Jordan Snyder. He's a
It's gotta
fun-loving
be
guy,
fun, yeah.
by all accounts. Do you think there's any chance we might see Resident Evil 5 come out this year? I've been hoping it would, but it seems inevitable that it will come out in 2009. I think there's a chance we could see it in 2008. I think it might even be more probable.
Yeah, I do too. I think that they're basically just having to build this new world up, and they're playing it safe as far as, you know, the design. Although I'm interested to see how sunlight is going to be scary.
I'm sure the whole game is going to be in the sunlight. I think it's not, personally. And it sucks because we gave it our most anticipated game of 2008 in our countdown. But I think if they're going to pull the typical Capcom, which we've talked about before, they're very smart about pushing games out of Q4 into Q1 of the next year. It's done really well for them in the past. It worked for Resident Evil 4. You know, it worked for
Lost Planet.
Lost Planet. From all the indications coming out of Japan, it's not going to be done in time.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be a total media blackout. I think we can expect to see tons of stuff.
We are seeing the game, definitely.
Yeah, when I was at the Capcom Digital Day, they're like, and yet, don't worry, we got Resident Evil 5 and more Street Fighter 4 stuff for you guys real soon. And I mean, just from like the Famitsu stuff, we know.
Well, we already got an invite to Capcom's Gamers Day in May. And I already know for a fact that the game is going to be there. I don't know in what capacity, but it's not going to go on media blackout, that's for sure. Patrick Morales, you got something for us.
All right, this question is from Dodo Gong. Who are the guys who do the reviews at GT? Not the people who write them with an R. The people who voice them. I know Daniel Kaiser has done a couple of reviews, but who is the guy who voiced the Final Fantasy retrospective and most reviews, and who is the other guy who voiced the Super Mario Galaxy review and other reviews? Can you have them on the show?
Funny you should mention that. The voice of Game Trailers is actually sitting on the panel today. Now, his name is Brandon Jones. He does most of the voicing for our reviews and features on the site. As far as the guy who did the Mario Galaxy review, his name is Rob Kirkovich. You may have seen him in some commercials recently, including, was it a Miller Lite commercial or a Bud Light?
Bud Light.
Bud Light.
Yeah.
And there's Brandon's voice, kids. There he is.
It's me.
What's going on, Brandon?
Not much. It's great to be on the show. I'm a big fan of the show. I've been a long-time listener.
You're just saying that. You can't be a long-time listener. This is like our 4th episode. First of all, Brandon, how did you sort of get to where you are right now at Game Trailers? You were actually one of the founding fathers, one of the first people at working on the site, right?
It was me and a guy named Jeff Groats, who's now moved on to Spike Digital. And I bought the site from Dotster.com for $15 in 2001. And sold it to MTV about 2.5 years ago. And Jeff and I were in it from the very beginning. And the other big influence, none of this would have happened, was John Slesser, who used to be my boss at an animation company called Hornet Inc. And I was an editor for him at the time, and we were working on it, and he really liked it, and so helped us get it up and running. And we didn't start doing reviews until about 2 or 3 years after we'd been running the website. It was just an aggregation site. We were just playing trailers. And then we wanted to do our own original content. And John, being in an animation company, had all these animators that ended up doing our original graphics, stuff that we're still using to this day. And I've had some theater and film experience. And so when we started doing that, it was like, what's cheaper than just having some guy who's, I was like the only full-time employee for the site then. And so just started doing it. And then like the first reviews I did were god-awful, and then just, you do something for so long.
Speaking of your film experience, now you actually starred and had the lead role in a movie called Star Sliders, right?
Yeah.
Something to be proud of, right?
Sure, yeah, it depends on which circle you're talking to. I mean, some people I'd be proud to show that movie to. My parents are not one of them. But
let's actually take a look at a clip from that movie right now.
Sir, I'm picking up a Zypher-class government starship on our scanners. What? It is Zypher-class. What the blades is it doing out here?
Okay.
see, it's not fair because I don't know what clip you showed. So
I didn't know he would do nude scenes.
Does it matter what clip we showed?
Oh boy, I don't know. I don't know if some of that stuff's internet safe.
Dude,
But
there is no such thing as something being not
yeah,
internet
that's true.
safe.
That's true. That's true.
In 1977, the Atari 2600.
What suggestions would you give to somebody who would be interested in doing voiceover for like game trailers or maybe even for voiceovers in games, period?
Well, I think one of the great things about the internet, how different the internet now is. I mean, the YouTube, when we first, when the site went up, YouTube wasn't around, and so I think you can do so much now. And I love seeing like Gaming with Khan and all of these, kind of blog reviews that our users are going. Just make stuff, and make a lot of it. Like if you're really going to do something, if you're going to do one or two things, unless you're like a Monty who can just blow people's minds with one video, you got to be consistent and you got to keep, putting something out and stick to it. Because no matter what, if you are creative, if you have a creative impulse to work on something, you're going to get to that point where it just sucks. It's just not fun to work on it anymore. And if you can get past that, and then get to, I think you'll get noticed if you, like I say, you get better at it the more you do it. So practice makes perfect. I mean, I'm pretty far from it. I mean, I'll be honest. Like, I edited all the retrospectives. I didn't do Metroid, but I mean, I get to a point there where I'm so sick of hearing me talk. So I think that's another thing too is editing with my own voiceover. I can hear, if I can get sick of something that I'm doing, it helps a lot going in.
Now, one of the big misconceptions on the site is that you are actually the person that reviews everything for game trailers. I know when you were gone getting married in December, it just so happened that a lot of big games obviously were coming out during that time period. Right. But what we saw were these comments from people. If they didn't agree with our review score, they're like, "Where's the old guy that reviews games?" Like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And they didn't realize that you're just reading the review. Do you find that funny?
I find that really funny. One of the things that's unfortunate, though, is I saw a lot of comments about the people kind of think the system's flawed. They're like, well, that's weird to me that you're reading this and yet you didn't write that opinion. And I think what's great about this website is we have a good community of editors. So I don't think you read every script that goes through and you polish everything. Sometimes more than one person will write. I mean, when Smash Brothers came in, 15 different people put their thoughts in on that.
So Brandon, thank you for stopping in.
My pleasure.
Thank you for buying the URL for $15 all those moons ago. It's hard to believe that little purchase that you made is expanded into what we have now. And
blows my mind.
We just really appreciate what you did. So thank you, and thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, guys.
Cool.
Can't wait to see the comments.
First up, let's talk about Ninja Gaiden 2. What are your guys' initial impressions of this game? I mean, it's a huge, huge game for Microsoft.
Chopping off limbs is good. Chop off the limb and then you can finish him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
Ninja Gaiden
But
2 in a nutshell.
there's more to it than that, though, because
yeah.
sometimes when you chop off the legs of a guy, he's not necessarily dead yet, but you have to really watch out for him, because then they have sort of incendiary shurikens that they can jam into you and blow you up. So,
Yeah.
and the problem is sometimes after a big fight, there's literally dozens and dozens of body parts lying around. It's hard to see that there's this one dude who has his arms left. He's going to crawl, and they literally crawl towards you and stick you with the grenade and blow you up.
How did the
Yeah.
regenerating health thing work out?
It works, but I mean, when you're fighting, 8, 9, 10 guys at a time, there's not a whole lot of time for it to rebound. So
Well,
you
you need to get through the fight to really get the big boost. Otherwise, you kind of have to rely on the blue essence
Yeah.
and soak it up mid-battle.
So,
Yeah.
so I guess in this one, the more you get hurt, there's like a fatigue. Is it like a reversed meter where your health won't go all the way forward?
Right.
So, and there's only a handful of items that can replenish that, right?
Yep.
Apart from a save point. So it's definitely harder this time around.
Yeah, I know without a doubt, this is the hardest Ninja Gaiden I've played. If you choose to play it on the harder difficulty setting, and again, like I said, the easy was way too easy. So hopefully they could tune that up a little bit and try to find a happy middle ground, because I can see where they made the easy for Joe anybody. But once you discover the Flying Swallow, it's like you just use it over and over and keep spamming it, and you can just walk through the game.
Yeah.
The game, obviously, I think it's pretty obvious it isn't done. It's a long ways from done, in fact. Like, there are missing elements in a lot of the cutscenes still, and obviously, it's a work in progress, so we're not going to nail it for any of this stuff.
On the flip side to the difficulty, one of the new weapons, the Falcon Claws, I think they're ridiculously overpowered.
Well, really?
Yeah, Justin and I were playing it earlier, and we literally would go through tons of fights in warrior mode, where we would not get scratched at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe I should have
we
tried
through
that.
straight to we got to the stage 3, or we beat the crazy dragon ninja guy. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you can definitely, the limbs just start flying off instantly when you start.
Do you
the
think
really
maybe
fast
since
weapons.
it's a new weapon, they overpowered it to make sure people will use it?
Maybe a bit. You definitely don't want to go back to the sword right away once you
yeah.
get it and try it out.
Overall, I can't wait to play more. I'll say that much. Hopefully they can tweak the difficulty a little bit and get things smoothed out for release. Next, we're going to move on to Grid, which is, we had that exclusive trailer a couple weeks ago. It looked really hot, got us really hyped. Got code into the building, we opened it up, we were all stoked, and then we saw sorry, no video can be taken from this build. So here we are on Invisible Walls, sharing our experiences playing the game. What do you guys think of it?
Well, first of all, I think a little disappointed that it's not running at a full 60 frames per second like that amazing trailer was.
Right. Well, I mean, it's
They
a preview.
said when they stopped
Yeah.
by, they're going to actually lock it down at 30.
Yeah, I know they've said that, but it's still, it's a disappointment when you saw that trailer. It was so amazing, largely because that frame rate was nice and tight. Mm-hmm. And it's not quite there. But, it's definitely a fun game. Feels a lot like Dirt, I think, in some ways, and
Makes
some
sense.
aggressive drivers. We keep getting run off the road, right, Patrick?
Oh yeah, definitely very, very aggressive. Even from the very first few seconds of the race, if you don't, just push in and make your own path in the road, they're gonna push you off.
It's not like Gran Turismo level of no way you're going to make this curve now. You're going 10 miles an hour too fast. You can pretty much
More like you're not going to
you
make
can
this curve because you're going 10 miles an hour.
Yeah, well, that too.
Gran Turismo is. Seems like you almost have to stop in the turns in Gran Turismo to keep from sliding off the road.
Yeah, but
Damage impacts your steering. I ran into that. I ran into
Oh,
a
yeah.
wall, and then I could never turn right anymore.
Yeah, it shows you like your tire damage and stuff, and like if you're veering left, you're going to veer left.
Are
So
there
it kinda
pit
has
stops?
this-
How do they manage the
I
whole
didn't see any.
damage part?
Oh, it has this rewind thing.
Yeah.
So the game's kind of like quasi-realistic with licensed cars and
Damage and stuff.
damage and stuff like that. But then it's kind of arcadey where you don't have to like tweak every little aspect of your car. There's no like car tweakage. Even though the game's kind of realistic, it lets you actually do like a Prince of Persia rewind time 3 times a race. So if you totally like mess up, you can like rewind time and try to make that turn if you like blew out your tires and stuff like that.
More often than not, you end up in the same exact crash anyway.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going so fast, rewinding 6 seconds.
All right, next up we're going to talk about Haze. Unfortunately, I did not get a chance to play this one.
It's a game with guns where
You
you
shoot
shoot
people
people
with
in
them.
the face.
That's
we
not very
kinda-
encouraging.
We kind of got thrown. There was only certain levels we could cover, and we got kind of thrown in, not in the middle of the game, but like jumping around.
Well, there's an early level where you're still a mantle trooper, so you're part of the evil corporation, and you're dosing yourself up with nectar to get the highlights enemies, gives you better aim and super melee strength. But there's only one of those levels, and then we went to the rebel levels where you've changed over and you're fighting against the man.
So later on, when you become a rebel and you fight against the Haze dudes, the Haze users, abusers, whatever.
Mantle soldiers,
Yeah.
Drug addicts.
Yeah.
Junkies.
So you
single mother.
sometimes their visors. Sometimes their visors turn from like yellow to red. Like I just shot them.
If you
Like-
shoot them in their
I didn't know what it meant. I just shot them, but do you know? What it
if you
means?
hit them in their nectar administrator, which is kind of their okay.
It's funny because
It's a technical term.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like their glowing weak spot on their back. Like if you hit that, then it gives them like a drug overdose and they go crazy. You can also make nectar grenades by kneeling over a guy and you hit a button and then you make a grenade. It makes this cloud. And then if the people walk into it, they get a nectar overdose. All their allies start looking like enemies and they just start kind of like spraying gunfire.
And this can also happen to you. When we were playing,
Yeah.
Justin turned all red and then he shot me in the head.
Was it automatic though, or you just thought that he was an enemy?
No, he
Well,
thought
it kind of like you start firing your gun uncontrollably, but I could still kind of like move around. And everyone looked like rebels. I'm like, maybe that guy's one side. It's like, oh, it was Ryan.
It's been kind of a slow week in the industry. Is this the big story? 50 Cent 2?
I don't know. It's just like it was can I say game? And
Well, you just have to bleep shitty.
okay, then it was a shitty game.
God damn, that f***ing game sucked.
It sold.
It did suck.
Yeah.
Maybe this one will be better.
It's just annoying that a bad game critically panned sold really well and here comes a sequel out of the blue.
Yeah, I think it was probably pretty frustrating for game journalists to see that first one fly off shelves. But then he did give away his entire music catalog with the game, so that could have had something to do with it as well. Moving on, the new Hulk game. We debuted the first trailer for that game on Game Trailers TV last Friday with much fanfare. What do you guys think of the initial footage?
Well, I think Justin was happy to see some. What's the word you use?
The weaponizing?
Oh,
The
weaponizing.
weaponizing?
I don't know.
The fists.
Yeah, it looks a lot like Hulk Ultimate Destruction
It
with
does,
different textures.
yeah.
And to me, like Hulk Ultimate Destruction was a really good license game, a really good sandbox game. It
Well,
looks
what,
like,
now it's not good enough?
No, it's not. It's not.
It's
It's
the
not the
same
same
game.
It's different guys trying to make the same game. It looks like. I just feel like it's going to be like, oh, we made a Hulk game. It came out with the movie. There you go.
But it is a licensed movie game.
Yeah.
So,
Don't hold your breath.
exactly. Anyway, moving on. Call of Duty 4 is unstoppable.
I heard 1.3 people play it a day.
With monster numbers like that, you just know they had to come out with the limited edition with downloadable content. Why would they start selling this game cheaper right now? I don't get it.
It's not
They're
cheaper.
not cheaper.
It's still $60. The Game of the Year edition's kind of a ripoff. You get the maps for free.
Dude, you cannot sell a Game of the Year edition of a game and not make it cheaper. That just goes against all the rules of our industry.
They're doing it.
Welcome to marketing.
Things are starting to fall off.
But I mean, it makes me wonder. Like, do you think Activision's going to release those maps for free eventually, just like they're doing with Halo maps?
I actually asked Activision that today. And one, they're big fans of the show. They said they love Invisible Walls, which was good to hear.
Well, Infinity Ward,
Invisible Walls.
It's like we're cousins.
Wait till they get to see the logos. Maybe they'll want to use one of the logos that was submitted for our logo.
Yeah, they'll work. The volcano one.
But I did ask him the
Pretty
question,
powerful.
3 months from now, are these maps going to be free? Because that seems to be the way it always goes. They put them up for sale. 3 months later, they give them away, and they refuse to answer the question. Next, we're moving on to one-word reviews, but instead of reviewing a game this time around, we're actually going to sort through some of the logos that you guys sent us to replace our pirated Tiger Woods logo for the show.
Explicit. Just look at it.
It looks like
There's something I've seen going
You're
on.
right.
I just think.
Yeah, I guess you're kind of right. I can see that. Next.
Number 2 from Cloud 360.
Personally, I think this is my favorite logo that any of the people created.
Yeah.
And it's completely different from what we had for our logo.
I put down burly. It's got some weight to it.
Some girth.
Yeah, a little bit extra trimming on the bottom and the side, too.
Literal.
Oh, that's the brick wall one. Yeah.
Not really.
Brilliant.
I think it's Pink Floydy.
Electric Sea.
Oh, that could be like one of those planetarium light shows. It's like,
Oh, the laser light show?
yeah.
Yeah.
Let me blow this one up a little bit.
Is that Line Rider? What is that?
It's Echochrome.
This one makes me think kind of like CGA. You got the nice cyan right there.
That was pretty slick.
Neon-y.
Electro Rocky.
It's gonna end everything in Y.
Corpy.
Corpy?
Looks like a corporation logo to me.
Macintoshi.
This is like a little like person with no arms, like backward knees jumping in midair. Like,
Yay, I did it! That's why you're wrong. I have Galaxian. I think it looks like the ship from Galaxian shooting a bullet.
I think it looks like a guy like standing on the W, and he's just so heavy that he's pushing it down.
oh yeah, this is my favorite.
Honestly, it's a really crap logo, but it's freaking brilliant.
Yeah, I like
Awesome.
volcanoes.
It's not even a logo. It's a picture of a volcano.
There's an I and a W. Pretty sweet.
I love
That
especially
texture.
how the I and the W are completely differently proportioned.
Asymmetrical.
It's
There's nothing balanced about the entire thing except the volcano centered in the image.
So awesome.
I think it's
Kill all the dinosaurs.
almost perfect. I actually had dino deficient because if it had dinosaurs,
would
that
win.
would be like freaking living
I
in.
like
Yeah,
this
home run.
one.
Tents. Anyone want to go camping?
Yeah.
Oh.
I put MTV Newsy because it looks like
You're right. It
MTV
looks just like the
News.
MTV News logo. It's all tribal.
Looks
Yeah.
very id. I think it looks like Quake logo or something.
Ooh.
Yeah, it does.
I like this one.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of my favorites. I like the whole ESRB take on it. I wish the IW logo was a little bit more dominant in the center, so it looked a little more like the ESRB logo.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of what is the Wang? Have you seen that?
No, I've never seen the Wang.
I
don't know.
It's the
Depends
ESRB
on which one.
logo.
It is a very ESRB. That's why I put impotence.
I like this one. This is from Fridgeman, who you may remember, who said our show was too long.
Yeah.
It looks like the logo's made out of turds. And this guy's saying "och" over here.
I think we should take just a small thing at the guy saying "och." That's a great logo to me.
I think that we can give this guy maybe
Och.
another like 20 GTD and just license the "och."
He's throwing his baby's head against the wall.
I had Olympic. I think it looks like he's shot pudding. He's like, oh, I did the wrong way.
Guys, you see anything here that you want to replace our logo with?
Not really.
I think you may have forgotten this one.
Oh, wait.
No, we forgot to one of the
We
dudes
forgot
shoot
the
each other.
Oh yeah, I skipped over that one.
Now this one I love because it makes no sense whatsoever. It's just two dudes shooting each other
Well, they're on like a pong
on a
field.
pong board.
See, they're playing Counter-Strike and someone's using wall hacks, so it's invisible.
Dude, I don't know. That's kind of awesome, actually.
Well, for lack of a better word, I just put Grawsome.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of Graw. Yes.
I don't know. Between that one and the volcano,
Maybe if we superimpose that over the volcano.
It doesn't get better than the volcano.
maybe the guy shooting
How
each other
about that logo erupts out,
of the volcano.
Oh yeah.
That's it. I think the volcano.
Yes.
Let's give him 500 GTD for the volcano. We'll give him 500 for the guys shooting each other. 500 for the ESRB rip.
Enjoy your GTD, kids.
Enjoy your GTD, kids. See? Fireball! Let's say we were pretty impressed with everybody's entries to the contest. I think we got far more than we ever expected. But I guess when you put that much GTD on the line, they're like, either I could watch 8 million videos or I could make a logo.
Yeah, and let me clarify, this is GTD, this is not actual
Real
American
money.
currency.
Yeah, I think we had some people that were confused and thought we were actually giving them $2,000.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Never.
Sorry.
But we do appreciate your input. I guess they could keep sending them, right?
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
bring
come up
these
with a
out
better
once in a
idea.
while.
Yeah, we'll bring them out every once in
The
a while.
logo bag.
And we promise if we ever do find something we like better, we will replace it with our logo, but it just hasn't happened yet. So with that, another stirring, gripping, enticing episode of Invisible Walls has come to a close. I think we're all better for it. We're back next week, next Thursday. We're here every Thursday, so be sure to check out the show. Be sure to interact with the show, give us your thoughts, comments, questions. As you know, you get 1,000 GTD for your questions being answered on the show. Ryan, how can they interact with Invisible Walls?
They can take their mouse with their hand and click on links on invisiblewalls.gametrailers.com and post comments or send us private messages. Or they can use something called email to send us an electronic letter at invisiblewalls@gametrailers.com.
Is that anything like the internet's?
My mom said I'm not allowed to go on that.
The World Wide Webs?
Yeah, information superhighway.
Beep,
That's a
beep.
shame. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next week.